Welcome to Asian Insider, a podcast series by the Straits Times. I'm your host, Nirmal Ghosh. Now, relations between India and Canada have plunged since Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said there were credible allegations that Indian agents killed Sikh separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar in Surrey, British Columbia, earlier this year in June. Nijjar was an advocate for Sikh separatism. He was a wanted man in India as leader of the Khalistan Tiger Force. Khalistan is the proposed Sikh homeland the separatists want carved out of the Indian state of Punjab. Now, Canada is home to the largest community of Sikhs outside India, an estimated 780,000. India has long been annoyed that militant separatists like Nijjar are tolerated in Canada, keeping alive the cause of a separate Khalistan state and advocating violence to achieve that. I don't think you would get better people to hear on this very complex issue than my two guests today. So let's jump right in. Thank you both for being here. And Professor Fair, may I start with you? You mentioned fundamental differences in Canada and India's priorities, values, and history. Could you unpack that a bit? Could you elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, I will. But I actually wanted to sort of dilate upon a few issues. So I would say that to really understand this diasporic formation, we have to understand how diasporas work. So you have had this very long-standing Sikh presence in North America that went back to the late 1800s, right? So this is a very old established community. And then when the Troubles began, that became particularly acute after the Operation Blue Star in June of 1984, you had an exodus from the Punjab of people who could leave. And so the Punjabis that went to Canada, the United Kingdom, those were sort of the stalwarts of, destinations, and to some extent the United States as well. What you had was a conflict diaspora. And so for a conflict diaspora, they have a very different image of what it was that they were leaving. And their children have inherited this sort of telescopic history. So, I study Punjabi, so I've had a lot of interactions with Punjabi youngsters in diaspora. But the other thing that I would draw both of your attention to has been Khalistani rap, and it's available on all platforms. So the how, it's coming through these multiple sources. Much of it is in person, some of it is popular culture, and in the same way that there's been this appropriation of Che Guevara, the Khalistanis have completely appropriated the Black musical culture, reflecting structural racism. And this is, you take a look at Sidhu Moosewala, for example. I mean, he has appropriated so much of that music, that musical gestalt, I guess, is maybe the best word, but he's weaving in it sort of contemporary themes of purported Sikh oppression. And it's very potent and it's very effective.
Very interesting. Terry Milewski, any quick response to that?
There was a case in point just recently, was it not, when a rapper named Shub, he had published, it's all about social media because it's cheap. I'll just back up one step. What has fueled the revival in recent years of the Khalistan movement is the fact that all you need is a keyboard, and now the world is at your fingertips, and you too can be a Khalistani keyboard warrior and a hero. And Shub, at one point, I believe quite recently, published on his site a map eliminating certain important areas of India. And the reaction was such that I think his concert tour got cancelled. The war is fought off screen. The war is fought out of sight of, middle-aged nerds like me who sort of still read print and aren't hip to what's happening in the world of rap. I think that Christy makes a very good point because that's where it's most potent. That's how it's reaching young people out of sight of most of us who are not. Don't spend much time on rap sites, believe it or not, and so apparently I'm missing the story.
Okay, thanks.